Good morning, class. All right, we're almost to the weekend. You guys have been great the whole week. So let's dive right in to the lesson today. Let me share my screen so I can show you guys the agenda and then we'll get started. Okay, so for the agenda for today, we have a discussion on compound sentences. Then we're going to have a practice where I'm going to work with you guys briefly, and then we'll have some quick independent work for you guys. Nothing too crazy. And then finally, we'll have an exit ticket where I'll give you guys a chance to discuss your weekend plans because you deserve it. Okay, so the objective for today, we're going to be able to identify and distinguish between simple and compound sentences by utilizing coordinating conjunctions to join two independent clauses. Excuse me. So we know independent clauses. We know that that's essentially a simple sentence, right? We touched on that last time. That's a complete thought that works on its own, doesn't need to be attached to anything else to be its own sentence, right? But the other two things on here that might look a little bit new for you guys, compound sentences and coordinating conjunctions. We're going to dive right into that in just a moment. Okay, so before I do that, let me ask you guys, who thinks they know what a compound sentence is? Yeah, so a really long sentence. Okay, so you're not wrong. A compound sentence in general will be longer than a simple sentence if they're basic sentences, right? But we want to focus on making sure that we're doing our best to be creative with our writing, right? Which means, adding adjectives, expanding on our ideas that we're writing on. So you're correct. You're on the right track. It is going to be a longer sentence of sorts. So let me show you guys some quick definitions that I have for you, and these will be available on Schoology as well. Um, After we're done with the lesson, I'll upload them and you guys can have them there for reference. Okay, so let me switch to these. So if you notice, I have added again the definition for simple sentences just as a review, right? A sentence consisting of a single independent clause that contains, these sentences can be short or long. And we've seen that, right? A quick example that we talked about last class, I think we mentioned something like the rain is falling hard, right? Something very simple, very clear and direct, right? The rain is falling hard. And we even have hard there, right? So it tells you how it's falling. What's another example? Just as a quick review, guys. Yeah, that works, right? So what do you have? The slow turtle hid in the shell. Yeah, that works, right? So very simple. But again, I like that you guys are experimenting with those adjectives, right? Making those nouns that we're talking about in our sentences a little more dynamic and giving them some detail, right? Expanding on that. So instead of just saying the turtle, right? It's the slow turtle. So great job. Yeah. So simple sentences. All right. So let's look at compound sentences. We said it was a longer sentence. If you see this definition, you'll see that you're on the right track. So not bad. So compound sentences, a sentence that contains at least two independent clauses. The two independent clauses can be joined by a coordinating conjunction or a semicolon. So if you notice, I highlighted coordinating conjunction. I'm going to show you guys what that is in just a second. But if you also see at the very end, it says or a semicolon. And some of you might know what that is, some of you might not. That's okay. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. For now, we really want to focus on coordinating conjunctions. Okay, so what does that look like? We already know what a simple sentence is, right? We know that it's essentially an independent clause by itself. So how do we join these two together with coordinating conjunctions? Let me give you a quick example of what a compound sentence is, and we'll see if you can spot where that um, coordinating conjunction is, because it is a part of the compound sentence. Okay, so I'll put, here's my example. Mr. Rincones teaches English class. Oh, teaches an English class. Okay. Teaches an English class. And all of his students love to read. And I know some of you do, some of you don't. That's okay. It's my personal goal to get all of you into reading by the end of the semester. But that's besides the point. Let's focus on what we're doing right now. Mr. Rincones teaches an English class and all of his students love to read. So first, what are the two independent clauses? Who can tell me? The two simple sentences in here. Jessica, go ahead. Yeah, exactly. So Mr. Rincones teaches an English class, and that could be a period. And then the next sentence could be, all of his students love to read. Exactly, right? So two complete thoughts, but they're related. So we want to put those two things together to give a more natural flow when we're reading. So Mr. Rincones teaches an English class, and all of his students love to read. What did I add there to bring those two things together? Michael, go ahead. Yeah, the comma and and, right? And, the word and. Yeah, so exactly. Um, comma and is essentially my coordinating conjunction. Let me highlight that for you guys. Okay, so you can underline that in your notes, highlight it if you have one with you, just make that note, right? So that's the coordinating conjunction. Um, let me show you guys, I'll stop sharing my screen. Under the agenda on Schoology, go ahead and scroll down. You'll see a PDF that I've uploaded for you that says coordinating conjunctions. Go ahead and open that up. I'll share it on my end so we can all see it. Coordinating conjunctions. If you notice, there's a list here with pink letters at the beginning. That's because you're going to want to remember this through the word fanboys, right? What is fanboys? Well, there's an actual definition for that word, but here we're using it so we remember what the list of coordinating conjunctions are. We have for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And if you notice, there's also a comma that's highlighted before each of these because you're going to need that comma. That comma is going to be your indicator, that clue that gives you an idea of where the coordinating conjunction is and what it is. Also, next to these coordinating conjunctions, we have basically their definition, what they mean, right? So we're going to use these to join the sentences together. I used and, right? And if we look for and, essentially that means an equal idea or time order, right? So we also have a couple of things like a reason, a negative choice or alternative, nor, right? Contrast choice, contrast a result. So we're gonna get a chance to play around with these. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna advise you guys to download that PDF. At least download it and have it open for now, but you might wanna print that when you get a chance, okay? Let's go back to the definitions. Now that you have that list, who can give me an example of a compound sentence? So look at that list of coordinated conjunctions. You know you need to have one in there. And give me an example. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to write that in the chat, or if you want to go ahead and think of one and then share. Okay, I see a few in the chat. Let me pull one out. Okay, this one works. Let me write it down for you guys. So, oops, I'm not typing in the right spot. Okay. We have online school really sucks. Okay, comma, yet I like not having to wake up early. Okay, that works. That's great, actually. So the concept, right? Online school sucks. I think we all agree that we're doing what we can here, right? But then you mentioned that you like not having to wake up early. I enjoy that too, right? But your coordinating conjunction is what? What is the coordinating conjunction here? Let's see. This is Michelle's sentence. Let's see. Jonathan, what's the coordinating conjunction here? Comma, yet. Yeah, exactly. And why are we using that one? Or why is that being used? Yeah, it's a contrast, right? It sucks, but we have this. Or yet there's still this silver lining. Okay, great. All right, what we're gonna do now is switch gears. We're gonna do a couple practice problems. Go ahead and open up the Google Doc. It's also under the PDF. It's titled Practice Simple to Compound Sentences. I'm gonna do the first one for you guys, and then we're gonna work together, and then you're gonna have some to do on your own. Okay, so now that you have that open, the directions are you're gonna turn the simple sentences into compound sentences using coordinating conjunctions. Okay, so number one, I'll do it for you. Just watch, I'll give you guys my reasoning for it, but write it down, all right? This will be your notes. The sentences are, it was getting dark, the scary wolves began to howl. Okay, how can I put those together? It was getting dark, comma, and the scary wolves began to howl, right? So I use the word and there because they're related thoughts, and I'm giving an equal sentence or idea, right? So it was getting dark, and the scary wolves began to howl. Both of these things are related, and they work together very well. Okay. Any questions for number one? Nope. Okay, perfect. So number two, the English teacher loves riding horses. It is such a peaceful activity. All right, let's do this one together. I'll begin and I'll give you guys the comma, and then I want to hear some coordinating conjunctions. Okay. Oh, let me capitalize that. The English teacher loves riding horses, comma. What do we have? And it is such a peaceful activity. Okay, that works, but let's look at the rest of the list. What might fit there better? What might be a better fit? Yeah, for, right? It's a kind of a reason for the first statement. That works, yeah. For it is such a peaceful activity. All right, great job. Why did we use for again? Who knows? Somebody different. Yeah, because it provides a reasoning for the first sentence, right? So think of it as because, right? Okay, good job. All right, so what we're gonna do now is you guys are gonna work independently for number three and number four, and that's where you're gonna turn into me. You're gonna submit that on the same posting where you found this Google Doc, and that will be your independent work. I'll give you guys a few minutes to do that, and then we'll come back together. Let me stop sharing my screen so you guys can work. Okay, now that we've done that, you guys have had a chance to fill out those last problems. Let me share my screen with you guys. We're gonna jump into that exit ticket, okay? So, like I said, we've worked hard. We're almost to the weekend. This exit ticket, you'll find it on the discussion board under the practice problems that we did, but I'll have it up here for you guys to see while you work. What I want you guys to do is write at least one compound sentence in which you tell me in as much detail as you can. So think adjectives, expand on those nouns. Um, what you have planned for this weekend. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, Mr. Rincones, I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend, or I'm doing nothing. Okay, in that case, for those of you who are not so sure, I want you to envision your ideal weekend and then tell me about that. So I want you to tell me in detail using coordinated conjunctions to make compound sentences. What is your ideal weekend or what you're going to do this weekend? Okay, guys, you've been great. I'll dismiss you guys as you turn in those exit tickets. Have a great one.